Hey everyone, in this video lecture we'll be talking about 2.5 in chapter 2, believing in yourself, changing your inner conversation. That is a great big thing. We talked about the inner critic and the inner, my gosh, my mind just went blank, defender. Um, that inner conversation is very, very powerful for the good or for the bad. So, how can you raise your self-esteem? By changing your self-talk, by changing that inner conversation. The author here talks about three students' reaction to a professor who's missed an appointment. One just gets depressed because they feel bad that they weren't valued enough and watches television. One gets angry and moans and groans, and one says, well, you didn't make it, let me do something else that's positive. Uh, the author uh, ties these reactions, or the individual reactions, to self-esteem. And he asks the question, how is it that three people can have the same experience but respond to it so differently? There's a psychologist named Albert Ellis who says the answer lies in what each person believes caused the event. And that belief of what caused the event is tied to the inner conversation that the person is helping. And that inner conversation then is what um, uh, defines our self-esteem, whether it's high or low. All right? So, interestingly, and I thought it was a good way to put it, psychologist Ellis says that our upsets, never seen that as a noun before, are caused not so much by our problems, but what we think about our problems. And we have to be careful of that. Just because we think something, even if it's about ourselves, doesn't mean it's accurate. And that's a hard conceptual bridge to cross. We may not know ourselves as well as we think we do. All right. The author of this book, Skip, I just forgot his last name, Skip Downing, suggests that, and a lot of people are psychologists have called this bad inner conversation stinking thinking. And it's not based on reality. It's usually irrational thoughts. And that's that inner critic, that inner defender. Okay? So be careful about when you're reacting to somebody who's missed an appointment, who can't go out with you or can't study with you, or it probably is not about you at all. Probably not. It's about the other person. So don't take on other people's responsibilities. You stick to your responsibility, and we all do much better that way. So when he was talking about the inner critic and the inner defender, he comes up with, and you'll read it here, I hope you'll read it here, is the activating event, that professor missing the appointment, doesn't cause the consequence. It's the judgmental chatter of the inner critic that does. Okay? So you want to be careful that you're not going through all of these things and saying, oh, ooh. Just the same way the activating event doesn't cause the angry response of the inner defender or the defender, it's that inner defender's judgmental that are doing that. Okay, so don't take that on. So if we admit or we realize that there is some stinking thinking going on, then what can we do to avoid it? And normally that kind of negativity comes when something doesn't go our way. So you want to be especially alert when events in your life go wrong, or when it's not going just how you thought it was going. I don't know that any of us have to go very far in life to see this. I just helped my daughter move this weekend, and it went really well. And it went really well because my other daughter, my daughter moving, and her boyfriend, my wife, my son-in-law, and others, we all said, we're here for this daughter to move. We left all of the stuff at the door, and we just pitched in and helped it. That we were doing the move. We weren't changing anybody's life, or that's all we were doing. And we had 3 really good days to do that. And it went very well. No indigestion, so we had a good time. So, but it was a conscious decision. And I say this, I don't teach this course lightly. These are conscious decisions. These are activities, concrete activities that we can do, each of us, to achieve a desired outcome, change a process that we're not comfortable with, end up where we want. Okay? So if you know that you have these this inner conversation that's not helping you, um, ask these questions or these situations. Is there evidence that our judgment may be incorrect? Is there another positive explanation? Is this all that important? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I know an F is bad, but is it going to be the end of the world? It really won't. I could give you, golly, a lot of examples where people think the world is coming down to it. It is not. I would question someone who's in English 4 times. Is that the end of the world? No, it isn't. But I would say the opportunity cost of being in a class 4 times is 300% more in time, money. So be thinking of, there's a lot of variables that come into shape. Psychologist Ellis also says that irrational thinking may be connected to people who feel that people must do something. Even I must do something, you must do something, because if you don't, then. When really we need to say, here's what I prefer happens. If it doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen, but it's my preference. And just because it's my preference doesn't mean it's the only outcome. So I thought that was pretty good as well. Okay, there's another thing that really comes to bear, and it's very uncomfortable when we talk about stereotypical responses, stereotyping, the stereotype threat. And we probably all have a list of stereotypes that we go through. The bottom line is well, I can't say all. In my experience, stereotyping is laying on a bunch of irrational or untruthful or unreasonable expectations, definitions on people, groups, situations. And it really is pretty weak. It's almost like I told my children, you don't make yourself look good by making somebody else look bad. And that's how I kind of feel stereotyping is. You try to make someone look bad or feel bad. And whenever you're around that a marker should go up, an alarm should go off. No, don't do that. So if you are victim to stereotypes, and you may be, he mentions African Americans, he mentions women, I don't know why he mentions those in particular. I've lived all over the world. I have seen people be ugly to everybody within a group, within a cultural group, within the sexes, within races. My experience is that stereotypical is much more an individual thing, and if enough individuals in a group have it, then it becomes societal, and it's very bad. Please don't fall prey to being stereotyped. I've taught for 26 years, and I don't know anyone who's not intelligent enough to do what they want to do if they will do it. That's the difference. If they get up and do it. So the bottom line is, in this section, the guiding principle is this: choose wisely the thoughts you allow to occupy your mind. Avoid letting automatic negative thoughts or negative stereotypes undermine your self-esteem or your results. You be responsible for your feeling, your actions, your choices, not somebody else. And get rid of this stinking thinking and replace it with thoughts that empower. I don't care what happens. Here's what I want you to think of. What can I do from this moment on that will take me where I want to go positively? And maybe help people along the way. Okay, here's journal entry 8, and I'll be seeing you soon. Call if you need something. Bye-bye.